Moll, the leader of the Flotsam ninjas and the rival to the Holy Nation faction, is one of the few characters we can actually talk to in Kenshi. Whilst we don't get a lot of information about her, we get a substantial amount to understand who she is and how she'll be as a leader. Now, every conflict in this game is a stalemate by design, but we have to consider the context of that stalemate. Is it a character reason like with Tin Fist? Or is it a problem of manpower like with the Dead Cats? Or is it a skill issue with the Revel farmers? So what's with the Flotsam ninjas? It certainly isn't anything lacking on Moll's side of things, but it's the fact that you cannot take a city with stealth alone. And the 3 targets she has set live not just in the heart of the Holy Nation, but also in the hearts of its cities. So what about the Holy Nation side of things? It's because they just do not know and the tech hunters don't sell out the Flotsams. Also, they don't want to go anywhere near the cannibal plains because, well, cannibals. Also currently at war with the United Cities, so yeah. You can see why trying to deal with somebody just picking up a bunch of slaves wouldn't be the highest priority on their list. Oh sorry, I got completely sidetracked by that. I was going to talk about Moll's character, wasn't I? While she doesn't believe in the Oquanite religion due to it being too black and white for her liking, she still lets her people believe in it. That's a good sign to me at the very least. She has quite the tempered edge, being quite sarcastic, referring to the cannibals as target practice. Another reason why the Holy Nation probably doesn't invade, since they don't use crossbows at all. However, there is a flaw of hers, one that isn't brought up, but I've somewhat inferred. She neglects to ever mention the suffering that the hivers, skeletons and Shek go through. In fact, there are no Shek at her outpost. And if you show up as either a Shek or a skeleton, there are some dialogue lines showing their fear, the people around and not Moll. So with that, I could see maybe the Flotsam ninjas falling into the same trap the Holy Nation did, distrusting the skeletons and hating the Shek and others. And I'll also be honest, it isn't really helping that the hivers are scam merchants. And the Shek are still kinda stuck in their own ways. I could see a war breaking out between those two factions. But there's also another oddity, the Revel farmers. Despite being in the same region, but very far away from each other, they have no reference to one another. Now this is of course because Simone's joinable faction path was basically cut from the game, but he does reference if you are allied with the anti-slavers, the only faction you can now ally with. However, this was also cut, this is just in the editor of the game. You can go have a look yourself if you want. This does hurt the setting slightly, as the Flotsam ninjas also don't reference the UC, despite also complaining about slavery. These factions could meet and become either allies or, more likely, enemies. They could hate how Simone conducts himself because he robbed a bunch of caravans, he attacks random travellers. That's how his men act, whilst the Flotsams only really question you and then leave you on your way. And Simone could be angry at them for not helping him, like he does with the anti-slaver, but also Simone recomposes himself immediately after. Alright, enough of that oddity in the game. Let's talk about how Moll plans to take out the Holy Nation. She doesn't have one. Capture the Inquisitors, then capture Blister Hill. That's her strategy. Or more accurately, what she tells you to do. Which is actually slightly smart, because the other 2 Holy Nation bases are actually defending from the Frogmen, because if you take them out, they'll be overrun by the Dead Hive. However, Moll doesn't comment on this if you do it, so there isn't much evidence for saying that she knows about this. If you want more of this, you know what to do. As always, have a nice day.